How are you guys? Good. That's good. I don't know how familiar you are with Lord of the Rings. There's a character named Aragorn. There's going to be some spoilers for Lord of the Rings. I'm spitting. Great. We're off to a great start. There's a character named Aragorn, and he is the rightful heir to the throne of the Kingdom of Men. And that's a lot of pressure. And so instead of being the king of the Kingdom of Men, he's just like off in the woods, being anonymous, making out with Liv Tyler, and just helping people in this that he comes across, you know? It's a bit of a Simba and the Lion King situation. You know, he's like, I'm just gonna hang out in the woods and be a ranger with Liv Tyler. But throughout the course of the books and the 3 movies, he realizes that it is his responsibility to step up and, you know, because he's like a good dude, be the king and, you know, help save Middle-earth from the evil forces of Sauron. And I really relate to that story because I too have been off in the woods with Liv Tyler the last year and a half. No, I wish. Although I have been not in the woods with Liv Tyler in real life, but I have been out filming in remote parts of Texas with Liv Tyler. But it was not romantic. We were just working on a TV show. So again, very relatable situation between me and Aragorn. Anyway, you know, I've just been doing my thing and not doing it in front of the internet. But as I have gone on my own journey with my own fellowship of sorts over the past couple years, I realized that I do have a responsibility to take my place as king of YouTube. And so that's why I'm here, to provide the generous service to humbly take on the mantle of my reign. This is Return of the Kiki, and we're just gonna pretend like I already haven't done this like 5 times. I figured to ease back into this, I would just do a little get ready with me and answer some Q&A questions. I posted on my Instagram, Kiki and the Jets, and the Salt Instagram, asking for questions, and you guys asked so many questions. I am continually grateful and surprised at how many of you still talk to me. So I'm going to answer some, I can't answer all the questions, but I'm going to answer some of them while I just do a simple makeup look. So first, I'm going to put on some sunscreen, and I'm going to use this sunscreen. It's not, I don't know if this is a cool sunscreen, but I have really sensitive skin, and my Holy Grail sunscreen that got discontinued years ago, I've really struggled to replace, and for some reason, this sunscreen doesn't burn my face. It's the Hawaiian Tropic Weightless Hydration Face. Weightless face. I don't like that. But anyway, I don't know why this doesn't burn my face. It should. It's a chemical sunscreen, and it has fragrance in it. So I actually don't understand why it doesn't burn my face. What's beeping? So I like definitely forgot how to make a YouTube video and have spent a lot of time today pushing buttons and plugging things in and being like, is that how that, is that where that goes? I just thought I heard a beep of like a bad beep. You don't want to hear a beep when you're filming. You don't want to beep because you're like, a beep means something is trying to tell me something, and I don't know. But it's not, it was I just bought this because I used up my last one. Why? That's why you buy things. You run out and then you buy a new one. Aren't you guys glad I'm back? What would you do without this information? I ran out of something, so I bought it again. It's my first pump, and so it's making a little squeak sound. Well, now it's not. Now it just had a... Anyway, it beeped, and I thought that the equipment was beeping, but it wasn't. It was this little guy going beep, beep. So I'm gonna put on some sunscreen. move my bangs out of the way. So I have hair now. I mean, I always had hair. I always had hair, just to be clear. It's grown. And I also lost like 20 pounds, not on purpose. Just, I don't know if you guys remember this or have seen it and me talking about it, but during the pandemic, during lockdown, I went on a really strict diet of exclusively Gushers. I went on an all Gushers diet. I only stopped because my doctor was like, don't do that. And she said it's like giving me borderline diabetes. And so to not eat only Gushers. And I was like, okay, well, to each their own. For some reason, being trapped at home and dealing with a lot of psychological stress from the world and my life, and eating 100% Gushers diet made me gain like 20 pounds. Scientists are still trying to figure out how that happened. Once I stopped my Gushers diet, gradually over time, I just lost the weight. I'm sorry, I don't have a cooler story there for you. Also, last time I saw you guys, I had braces behind my teeth, like full-on metal braces, but just behind my teeth. So I had a lisp. I no longer have that because I got my braces off. I also realized one of the times in the last couple years that I made a video, I was talking about my voice having changed. My voice is still changed, but it's not as dramatic as before because they told me when I went through speech therapy, because that was what that was about, in case you don't remember or didn't see. I went to an ENT about something else. And when he had the camera down in all my ENT areas, ear, nose, and throat, he was like, you are damaging your vocal cords because of the way you're talking. And so I had to go to speech therapy, which I was like, okay, first of all, rude. That's not what I asked you. Anyway, so I went to speech therapy. For a while, I had to talk in a really weird voice that I felt super uncomfortable about. And they told me, they were like, over time, you'll find a medium between what feels natural and like your natural cadence and speaking more properly like this. And that's more or less happened. Some of the time when I'm not thinking, I do kind of fall back into some bad habits, but overall it's like kind of a medium now, which is good. So yeah, my voice is different and my hair is different and a bunch of stuff is different. So I have my sunscreen. I'm now going to put on Sneaky Balm in the shade N10. Ooh, and I'm gonna answer the first question because it's the #1 most asked question on both my Instagram and the Salt Instagram, which is, when are you gonna bring back international shipping? And I'm having a little chuckle at this because we already did bring back international shipping literally last Friday. And I posted it on the Salt Instagram and my stories and the Salt's Instagram stories. And I sent a email blast about it. These algorithms, man, just not showing people stuff. So anyway, international shipping is back. Very excited about that. I felt so bad while we weren't offering it, so I'm very happy. So I'm gonna put on N10. Just gonna dab it under my eyeballs a little bit. And I guess I should answer another question. Tips for making meaningful friendships with other women as an adult. I love this question. I am very fortunate to have a lot of really amazing female friends as an adult. Many of them I've known since I was a child, but I've also picked up a bunch of new ones. And life is, I don't know if this has been your experience or if you've picked up on this, but life is kind of trash. So one of the good parts is female friendships, and it's something I'm very passionate about. And I do have some advice about this. I, for a long time, met many of my friends in the film industry at work because you like work on a set and you meet a bunch of new people on that set and then you go work on another one. So you just meet a lot of people. But for a lot of people, their work doesn't constantly put them around a bunch of different people. So what I have found in the last couple years is that finding a hobby that involves other human beings and getting into that hobby puts you around some like-minded folk, and that's where most of my adult female friendships have come from in the last couple years. When it comes to nurturing those friendships, I think not forcing things is important. If you meet somebody and you don't necessarily click, like, that's okay. Make room for the people that you do click with, and then it's pretty easy because you're just being you and they're being them, and you're just like delighted by each other, and that's a wonderful thing. And I also think it's important to try to be aware of reciprocity and not just be like constantly talking about your problems, but also checking in how they're doing. You know, just going back and forth, having some balance. Face has been sneaky-ified. Any quick makeup tips for the girlies that get up 40 minutes before work? Yes, absolutely. Don't let society change you. Lean in, sleep, get that sleep. Don't underestimate the power of lowering your bar of hotness that you present to the world, because when you look like you just woke up and you don't wear any makeup every day, then you get to have this amazing Cinderella moment every time you put on mascara where everyone's like, wow, you look amazing right now. And you're like, yeah. So I'm really into lowering bars for myself. And one of the ways that I do that is by just looking rough most of the time. And then when I don't, people are like, you beautiful princess. And I'm like, I know. So yeah, don't change a thing. Don't change a thing. Now I'm going to put on our two new shades, Toasted Coconut and Sparkling Peach. I've said this in the past, and it's always been true when I've said it, when I've had new releases saying like, this is my favorite. Of all my favorites, these are my favorite. Putting Toasted Coconut on as a bronzer. Trying to remember how to put it on my face so you can see it on my face. Just... Toasted coconut. Don't I look just like a coconut? I'm not looking at this question right now, but somebody asked, how does your hair length affect the way that you do makeup? And it mostly doesn't, but what does is when I have bangs, I just put less makeup where my bangs are, and I'm lazier with my eyebrows, which is impressive because I'm already so lazy. Again, it's all about that low bar. Did you ever solve your acne? Because now at 29, I have the worst cystic acne out of nowhere. Oh, fuck. I'm so sorry. That's exactly the age I was when I got horrible cystic acne. I saw a dermatologist. She is really wonderful. Put me on spironolactone, and that's the short version. I've made some videos about that journey in the past, and yeah, basically for me it was hormonal. Oftentimes when the acne appears around that age, it is hormonal. I recommend seeing a dermatologist. For a really long time I assumed that seeing a dermatologist was like a rich people thing, and I wish I would have known sooner that acne is a medical issue and insurance covers the treatment of acne in most cases if you live in the stupid United States and have to pay for healthcare. Thoughts on Jaclyn Hill drama? I don't really know who that is. So I don't have any thoughts. Okay, here's a question. What was the spark for choosing Muay Thai as your fitness method of choice? So one of the reasons that I have been busy and not making videos over the last year and a half is because I got super into acts of violence, and that's not sarcasm at all. I went to a Muay Thai class, which if you're not familiar, Muay Thai is a combat sport that involves punching, kicking, and also striking with your elbows and knees. I got super weird into it. I got into it in a really weird way, and I pretty much spend all of my free time being violent now. To answer the question, why was that the fitness thing I chose? I actually didn't choose it for fitness. I always have hated fitness. Growing up dancing, that's kind of just like that's what you do. You don't really have time to do anything else. But I was always really interested in martial arts. Oh, by the way, I'm going to now put on Sparkling Peach, which is the other one of the new colors. I stopped dancing a couple years ago. It made me extremely sad, but my body just did not working for me anymore. I saw an article, and it was one of those articles that's like, horrible violent thing happens to woman minding her own business on street, and I won't get into it. But anyway, for whatever reason, I was like, oh, is that the final straw? Yes, it is. I'm just tired of not knowing how to punch somebody, and I can't really dance anymore because it hurts in like the bad hurt way. I looked up martial arts and stuff that was in my area and kind of did some research on like what are effective martial arts. And I found a place that teaches Muay Thai. I went to a trial class, and in the trial class, you know, a guy was holding these pads I'm supposed to kick, and he was telling me how to kick, and then he put up the pads for me to kick him, and I kicked him, you know, the pads he was holding. He said something like, no, you can kick harder. You can kick as hard as you can. And I was like, I can kick as hard as I can? And he was like, yes. And I kicked him as hard as I could, and I was like, I'm gonna get so weird about this. And I did. But like, actually, in that first class I went to, the first thing they said was like, everybody grab a jump rope and jump rope for 5 minutes, like to get warmed up. And I was like, oh God, what mistake have I made? I was like, is this like a workout? I want to do like a martial arts movie montage where I just do like forms and shit. Like, you want me to exercise? Like, you want me to jump rope for 5 minutes? I've always had terrible cardio. I've always hated running. And so I was like, oh, fuck this. And then he was like, kick me as hard as you can. And I was like, and we're back. So anyway, I didn't pick it for fitness. I just wanted to know how to punch people. And now it's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. It's also where I met a lot of my amazing female friends. There was another question I feel like related to this one. Somebody asked, how did you get into the habit of working out? Because if you follow my Instagram, most of my stories are about Muay Thai or like being at the gym. If you had told me a couple years ago that I would be like someone that goes to the gym and lifts weights and does like cardio training, I would have been like, you're insane. By the way, I'm now going to fill in my brows with this really old Anastasia Taupe brow powder and a tiny little brush. What happened was I just was so passionate about Muay Thai, and I've always been very passionate about not sucking at things, like, or at least sucking at things for like the smallest amount of time possible. Because Muay Thai satisfied like the parts of me that dance couldn't satisfy anymore, I just loved it so much. It's incredibly physical, and I was not in the physical shape required for the sport and to excel at the sport. And so for me, so many things about like my diet and exercising have all been like to solve issues that affect my training. I started going to the gym to lift because it helps with injury prevention and speed and power and explosivity. And then when I started eating better, it was because I was like, oh, I'm doing so much cardio that it starts to eat away your muscle tissue if you don't eat a bunch of protein. But the thing is, if you eat a bunch of protein and you don't eat enough fiber, then it sucks for your digestion. And if you exercise a lot but you don't eat enough carbs, then you don't have enough energy to sustain those movements. And so I developed a bunch of healthy habits, like not on accident, but I think why it's stuck and I've been consistent with everything is because it's something that I care about, and there's like a reason aside from like wanting to look good by society's definition, because I don't think that's motivating enough. First of all, it's not, it's bullshit, but also I just don't think it's like a good motivator. So for me, being consistent has all been about like that I just love the thing I'm doing and I want to be able to do it better. So I think if you can find activities that you like that are physical, that's the way to go, because you'll actually stick with it because you like it, you know? I actually like lifting weights at the gym now. I never ever would have thought that would be the case. You know, there's even some science to back up. You kind of get out what you put in. Like if you try at something and you do it for a while, a lot of the time, not all the time, you'll start to find the things about it that you enjoy. Not necessarily. If it's something you just truly fucking hate, then obviously that's different. But with exercise, you know, endorphins are a real thing. That's not made up. I do have an injury right now, and that has actually been very, 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 very frustrating and difficult because Muay Thai really helps my mental health. And I sprained my wrist a couple months ago, and now it's just taken a long time for the tendon to heal. Hoping to be back very soon. Also, somebody asked tips for increased energy regarding exercise. Carbs are really important for energy. Obviously like trying your best within what's reasonable for you in your life to get a good night's sleep. That's not always possible. I personally have been sleeping horribly lately, but trying to get a good night's sleep. If you're not resting sufficiently, then you're not really getting it. You're not helping yourself. And then fueling with enough carbs is really important because carbs is how you get energy. And there's been a lot of anti-carb propaganda out there. And carbs are really important. Every part of your diet is important in moderation. I am now going to use the Auric Defiance cream eyeshadow. I'm going to put it on my lid. And I guess one thing I need to work on is being able to talk and answer questions while also putting things on my face simultaneously, because right now I'm like talking, answering the question, finishing it, and then going, oh yeah, maybe a video that requires multitasking was not the move, but that's very pretty. Now I'm gonna put the little sparkly part. Oh, makes me feel very pretty. Next question. What to do to keep up mental health when you're injured and can't punch it out? Wow, you guys really get me. Nothing. Just panic and feel really shitty and have a really bad time. That's what I've been doing. There's a lot of questions, like after when is international shipping coming back, there's a lot of questions about the concealer type product that I'm developing for Salt and also the new palettes. And I'm gonna be a little dickhead and not really answer very much yet. But it's coming. Updates are coming. And I'm excited. And I think you guys will be excited too. How do you manage a business / to be so productive while also having ADHD? Signed, newly diagnosed. You know, I have gotten this type of question a lot. Even when I don't ask for a Q&A, people just sort of like slide into my DMs, but not to be sexy, just to ask about ADHD. And frankly, nothing gives me imposter syndrome quite like questions in this area. I really feel that the internet is not an accurate reflection of someone's life. I am very productive at certain things, but like in an obsessive way, like with Muay Thai. And that's also like an ADHD thing, like the hyperfocus. Oh my god, it's so fucking pretty. Yeah, I mean, I'm not good at it. You know what it is? Usually people with ADHD are good at being productive when forced. Like they'll procrastinate, but then when it's like, oh my god, everything's a mess. Like you have 5 seconds to do this. They're like, I'm fucking on it, and they hyperfocus. The thing about running a business is that like everything is like that. So I don't think I am good at having work-life balance, and I don't think I'm good at being consistently productive. But the thing about having a business is there's so many things that are actually urgent, and if you don't do them, it will be bad, that I have to be productive and show up because the type of career I've chosen is one that is just like flamethrower under your ass and you're like, oh my god. So that's why I don't think that's super healthy, but it's the answer. I have picked up a few little tips and tricks recently. One was that it's helpful to just focus on one of your executive functions and look up tips on that one. For me, I've been researching tips on how to improve task initiation, and that has actually been pretty helpful to me. And so I recommend looking at the different executive functions that ADHD affects, picking one that you feel like is the one that would help the most, and then just like trying to chip away at that, because progress is generally slow and kind of up and down, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So just picking one part is pretty helpful to me. And then also I just look like a serial killer, and I have like notes everywhere and things all over the walls. Yeah. Oh my god, so many questions. Oh, also some questions about, are we making a individual palette? Yes. Yeah, also a lot of questions about like, what helps you with work-life balance as a small business owner? Nothing. I'm not good at it. I'm bad at it, and it's a problem. Will you make more shimmery blushes? Okay, like the sparkling peach and toasted coconut here. The answer is yes. I fucking love this formula. I crushed it. I'm definitely making more shades, and I'm very excited about it. What are you most proud of in terms of Salt New York? Oh, that's a really good question. How much you guys like the formulas? I'm proud of a lot of things about it, but how much you guys like the formulas, I'm really proud of that, because I work so hard on them, and I am very happy that they make you guys happy. I am now going to put on eyeliner, and I almost was ashamed and went and bought a different eyeliner because I was like, I can't show this on camera. No, I don't even know how to tell people what this eyeliner is, because I've literally worn off any sort of words or label. I was able to remember it's the Rimmel Scandalize, and it's in a brown color. Okay, I can't see it. But clearly I enjoy this liner. I got it at the Rite Aid on the corner, and it's a pretty good eyeliner. And I just kind of push it into my lashes in the outer half-ish, corner-ish. and a little bit in the waterline. And then I take my finger and I just smoosh it around a little bit. And then I take another finger and I just kind of do that in case I smooshed it wrong, because usually, I mean, who among us hasn't smooshed it wrong once or twice, if you know what I mean? I don't know what I mean, but maybe you know what I mean. How's the singing going? Good. I love to sing, and actually fixing my speaking voice has helped the singing a lot. Any advice for someone trying to find a form of exercise that they don't resent, hate, avoid? Yes, absolutely. Try different types of classes, preferably things with music. Start there. Start moving around. There's something. Endorphins feel good. When will you visit Montreal? I don't know, but that sounds fun. It says, I love my Salt New York balms. Do you have tricks on how to make them last 12 hours, please? Yes, I do have a tip, and it's to kill hope, because no makeup lasts 12 hours looking good. There's some things that might physically still be on your face and look decent. Nothing looks good for 12 hours. I have some major beef with the cosmetics industry for just fucking lying to our faces so much for so long, telling people like 24-hour wear, lasts forever, no touch-ups, perfect retouch product. No, it isn't. No, it doesn't. That's not how it works. If that's how that worked, my job in film would have been really different, because we try literally every product that comes out, and usually working in film, we get sent every product that comes out by the brands to use on our films. And so we try everything. And if there was anything that just made it so we didn't have to do touch-ups for 12 hours, you can better believe we'd be using it, so that we could just sit there and not have to do touch-ups. But everything needs to be touched up. That's the nature of a human face. It produces oil, it moves around. I do think that if you start with clean skin and a moisturizer that is appropriate for your skin type, so you're not adding like super oily slickiness, and then if you want to like lightly set with a lightweight powder, you can, but I think to just not try to make it last 12 hours, but make something that doesn't look like, I tried to make products that will fade without looking really bad as they fade, because I prefer that to stuff that like oxidizes and turns a weird color as it fades, or like peels, gets patchy as it fades. You know, just reapply, set with a little powder. I know it'd be cooler for me to be like, it'll last 12 hours, but I just won't lie to you. Do you still have family in a cult that you talk to? I'm struggling to balance my love without judgment. Yes, my family has been Mormon, like my dad's side of the family and my mom's side of the family have been Mormon since Joseph Smith was alive in the 1800s, starting the Mormon church. And my family's actually very close. I also grew up with a ton of Mormon friends. They probably don't love the way that I talk about the church openly now. But yeah, no, most of my family and a lot of my oldest friends are still a part of the Mormon church. It is sometimes a difficult thing to navigate. When it comes to balancing love without judgment, that part I empathize with, but at the same time, in my case, because I experienced the brainwashing firsthand, it's fairly easy for me to tap into like, people just don't know what they don't know until they know it. Opening your mind up to the idea that everything you've been told your whole life by the people closest to you is incorrect and is very scary. So I understand why people don't like jump away right immediately when they're faced with new information. So I try to just live my life and remember that I also was taught those things and at one point thought them. Yeah, I have never used this mascara before. It's the e.l.f. Big Mood Mascara, and I got it because it got good reviews on Target's website and is cruelty-free. It's a lot of goopiness here. This is very voluminous mascara, definitely. It's getting away from me a little bit in the clumps. Someone also asked what is my goal for salt, but one of the things I'm working on is increasing our manufacturing capabilities so that I can make more different types of products. There's a lot of things I want to make, but I have to, invest in the equipment and learning how to do those formulation processes and everything, but that's my goal, is to be able to make more types of things. For my lips, I'm going to put on Rose, and then I'm going to put on a little bit of Miss Kackie's lip gloss. I got this lip gloss because I was with Kackie at dinner the other night, and she pulled it out and was like, look, smell this. And I was like, ooh, it smells so good. And then I just pretended to like steal it and put it in my bag, and she was like, you can do that. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, I have more of them. This one's new. And I was like, thank you. So basically I stole this lip gloss from her straight out of her makeup bag. Well, I think I nailed this Aragorn look. Feeling ready to slay. And by slay, I mean orcs, Urukai, Sauron, the Nazgul, ring wraiths, any of the above, ready to slay. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what type of content you want to see. I'm going to make content about Muay Thai. I'm going to make content about music. I'm going to make content about weird stuff that I think of. Okay, here's the thing. I have another little rant before I go. So I've always been torn between the fact that I don't really want anyone to know who I am because it's a lot. And working in film for so long, like I saw actors up close, and I don't think people, like, I don't think the masses knowing who you are is actually that chill for your mental health. And I witnessed that up close for so long. And so I've never particularly wanted that. And also the internet's just weird. It's a very weird place. People are really mean. I've always been uncomfortable with sharing me, and anytime my channel's grown or videos gotten more views, I've always been like, so I've been torn between that and the fact that there is something in me that wants to share stuff. And it's always been there. It's the thing of like, if I learn about something or I figure something out or I find something I really like, I want to share it with people. And that's like true in my personal life with the people around me and always has been. And it's also true with like, if there's any type of platform for me to do so, I'm like, I want to tell you about this thing. I don't know what that like quality is. My brother has it too. He's the same way ever since we were kids. Like if he hears a song he likes or tries a restaurant he likes, like he's like, oh my God, you have to try this thing. I don't know what that is, but even just on my Instagram in the last, year and a half or whatever, on my stories, I'll be like reviewing rom-coms and, asking people their favorites. Or like I asked about protein bars that taste good a while ago and people submitted a bunch of stuff and I tried them all and I'm going to post them. So it's like, I like helping people. I like making people laugh, and I like sharing stuff I figure out. As a human, I enjoy that process. And so I've always been torn between like, I want to share stuff and I also don't want anyone to know who I am. And then also, I still get emails and DMs pretty regularly from people saying stuff that is so meaningful to me about just like the impact that my videos have had. And my videos are usually super dumb, almost exclusively, but laughter matters. And I know that because watching funny things is like how I soothe myself much of the time. So like when I'm going through a really hard time, watching funny TV shows and things like that shit helps. It feels funny to repeat, like, people tell me that my YouTube changes their life, but like people do tell me that. I do like helping when I can. If it's like, if me making you laugh helps, like I want to do that. I just always get sort of in this like little limbo. I'm gonna try again to not stay in the little limbo and show up. I guess like, subscribe, send it to your grandma. Do you think your grandma would like it, the video? If she would, then you can show it to her. I think I'm done